Life is sweet. Let it sweep you off your feet.
Hi, it's Ali and Find Your Joy. This is really exciting because we have, Christine Dare she's from, well, many things. She's from Power and Aging. She does a whole lot of stuff. And today we are going to be talking about energy exchange. And I am so excited. I can't wait. This is my jam. Christine, welcome.
Sally, thanks so much for having me. It's my jam too. I think that's why we connect so well.
Yes, I think it's true. I know I have to remember sometimes, oh, right, I haven't known her forever because sometimes when it clicks like that, it has that feeling. And that's part of how energy works.
It is. I was going to say that's exactly because of our energy exchange, right? And it's not always that powerful between other people, and that's okay, right? It would be too much actually if it was, right? So it's
Right.
lovely to find those special people that you connect with and you have those amazing energy exchanges with.
Right. Puzzle pieces that fit and are not forced. It's
Yes.
lovely. So tell me everything.
Okay, well, it's
Just
fun.
do a matrix download on me.
One of these things. So this is one of our topics actually in one of our themes in Power and Aging. And as I've mentioned before, like with Power and Aging, we do lots of different topics covering how women age as we, especially going through midlife.
Yeah.
And we talk about hormones and physical body and how it affects us mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But if you let me ramble on spiritually, I do get a little woo-woo and we've taken it to a whole unit about energy exchange, and it's simple in that if you look at everything we do is an exchange of energy, right? I mean, we are all made up of energy, so there's that whole quantum, physics. We are, made up of actual energy and everything we touch and we do. But if we break it down in kind of layman's terms and we think about an exchange of what we give and what we receive and what we're looking to find in our lives and why we aren't maybe receiving it, and then start to take a little bit of responsibility about maybe it's what we're putting out as well, because everything is an exchange. Is it always an equal exchange? Not always, right? So we have to learn, how do we deal when we're giving more than we're receiving in a relationship, for example,
Mhm.
right? I had one relationship years ago, like high school, and I always thought I was giving so much, and why couldn't he love me the same way or give me the same amount? And at one point, he actually said to me, I know you give me your all. He said, but I'm actually giving you my all as well. It just does not match. So
Right.
energetically, we were not a match because, it was taking everything out of him to not even reach my level. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not that he was
Yes,
better or
yes.
worse. We just were not matched. And I mean, it was high school, it was fine. And, he's a great guy. But everything we do, every relationship we have, walking into a room and knowing you have total control of how the energy in that room can change with what you bring in. And
Mm.
honestly, people can use it as a tool. Say you have an interview or you have, something at work that you're getting ready for. You can, I mean, I'm a big fan of visualization, and I will literally sit there, you probably talk about this, and visualize how that interview or how the whole day is going to go start to finish. I make it exactly the way I want it to go so that I'm already directing my energy into that occurring. I'm already living it like it is. And if it doesn't go exactly the way to plan, that's okay. I'm already riding this high vibe of energy in the right direction. And I'm more prepared to navigate what comes at me, rather than going in unprepared and preparing energetically for what you want. So if I go in, nervous and meek and not, I'm going to expect that kind of reaction back, right? Whereas if I'm prepared and I go in knowing what I want and giving my best energy, I can expect to receive that same energy exchange back. Again, it doesn't always happen 100%. Sometimes you have to compensate. Maybe you're going to raise your energy or vibration up a little more to bring that up, right? So it's interesting because as a coach, I have to be very conscious of, if somebody comes in very low vibe, I can't come at them super high vibe and like
Right.
charge them and expect them to raise to my vibration, because it's being aware and conscious of what they're coming in with. At the same time, I'm also very aware that I'm capable of raising their vibration throughout that energy exchange
Mm.
by the way I go about it, and by the way I have intentional energy direction with them. So it's about being intentional. It's about knowing where you want to place your energy, where you want to focus your energy, how you want to have your energy received, because that person might not be ready to receive that high vibe. You know,
Right.
I used to work at this restaurant, and I don't know what it is with kitchen staff. I should probably not be generalizing, but a lot of them are just kind of grumpy and miserable, and
A
and
hard job. I bet, eh? I've never done it, but
oh my God. Well, and honestly, I am a terrible cook. Like I could never do what they do. But I would come in, and even if I'd had a hard day, I intentionally decide I leave that energy out the door. These people are seeing me fresh. They don't have to take on that energy that I had with me. So I consciously leave it at the door. I come in with this whole, I am gonna just kill them with kindness. And I'm like, hi everybody. And I always feel these like eyes rolling, and oh my gosh, Christine's walking in the room. But it almost became a joke, because I am there to not dim my light so that they can feel comfortable. I am there to be who I am. I am there to shine and be happy. And that's just who I am. Naturally, I'm a very happy person. I'm actually very blessed. I know that's one of my superpowers. So I feel like I'm going to come in with that energy. And if it can help somebody be a little happier, we kind of joked around a little, because sometimes they were like even grumpier to me on purpose. Like it became a joke, but the humor made it a little bit lighter, right? So I know that I have the power to walk in and soak up their energy and stay on that low vibe, because, we can all feel other people's energy. And if I chose to receive it, but I didn't, right? I would put my little bubble of protection around me and block it, know that I'm coming in for that. And just say, you know what? No, I'm going to stay in my high vibe and put that out in the room and see if the energy can increase, right? At least with maybe some of the other people around me, might not be certain people, but it's all about an exchange. What I'm giving, what I'm receiving. How are you going to receive my energy? Is it equal to what you're going to give me? And if not, am I going to know how to top it up, right? Am I going to fill my own cup? And sometimes in life, we have to fill our own cups. We can't rely on other people to be that energy source for us. We have to learn to do it for ourselves. So that's also very important, in energy exchange with ourselves.
yeah. I love too that when you were first speaking, you talked about when we meet somebody, and I like to I'm an analogy girl. Everything my whole how I process life, how I see the world is okay, this is like that. It helps me to understand things. But I liked when you said when you come in and you're at a high energy, that maybe these aren't your words, but this is how I heard what you said. You're sensitive to where someone else is. Because if I walk in, you know what it's like. You come in, and we've all done this. We come in and we're laughing and we've just had the greatest day. And then and then maybe someone else, whatever they're like normally or typically, or however we want to word that, maybe that's not the day they're experiencing. So to be sensitive enough to go, oh, okay, hang on, what's happening here? And that's part of what I think what happens with an energy exchange too, right? Right, I'm not trying to make you agree with me. In my
No,
own mind, I'm
absolutely it is.
it's being sensitive
It,
because sometimes people don't understand the language of energy. So when we talk about energy and vibrations, some people, I get it, I understand it because it's my jam. And I know some people, maybe they don't, and they think it's when you said something about the woo, and I thought, but it's not woo. Like it is woo, but it's not woo because it's actually science, and it's
it's
and it's
totally true.
emotional intelligence, and it's all these other things. So I love that you said the first thing that made my heart so happy was when you said you walk into a room and you see that someone else isn't there, and we kind of match them, right? I think what NLP would probably call it mirroring, right? Or we do that. I love that. So could we go back there a little bit, and you and if that's okay, and talk about how when the exchange is there, and you notice that someone is at a place where their energy might require some what am I, some first aid or something like that. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, so again, for me, I think it all comes back to intention, right?
Ah,
What
yeah.
is your intention? So some people, want to, if they're down here, like they're feeling down or they've had a bad day or maybe they're going through some trauma, and they would do anything to feel better, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
know that, and that you have to meet them there, but your intention is to make them feel better. Then these are tools that you can use intentionally, right? And meeting them at that energy exchange and helping them to raise their vibration.
Yeah, yeah.
Then there are times when people are just not ready, like they're not in that process, right? And that's also when I had said, like, you can't hit somebody here and they're here and like, come on, let's come up with me, and
Yeah.
and you just have to sit, I guess, in empathy and just sit with them and just,
Mm,
at the same time, for me personally, if I am not able to raise their vibration and they are on a low vibe, I tend to put a bubble of protection around myself just
yes.
so that I can sit in empathy with them and be down here and not have to change their energy vibe. That's okay if that's not what they want. But I
Yeah.
also don't want them to lower my energy vibe, if you know what I mean. Um,
Yes, yes.
and I will happily sit with them as a friend in that, but then when I leave, that bubble of protection has allowed me to come back to this high vibe energy that I was
Yes.
already feeling. Because if not, we can take on someone else's energy and it can drag us down. I call them, like, my image is like you're floating up here and they're grabbing your ankles and pulling you down because they
Mm,
desperately want other people to sit in that energy with them, consciously or unconsciously. It's not necessarily they're trying to bring you down, but what they're going through needs empathy. It needs companionship. So
right.
they're trying to have you there, and that's fine. And you can sit with them, but you have to be able to go back to your natural vibration after that exchange is made. Else you,
Yes.
else you stay down, and it's harder to constantly, fill your cup and bring yourself back up. And I I admire so much people who work in industries where they're constantly, support workers, caregivers around people that need that extra energy, and they're constantly giving, right? And I think, who is filling their cup? Well, sometimes just being in service fills your cup because we all know it feels good to help other people and it feels good to, be needed and supportive. But seriously, on a physical level, you said it, energy is physical.
Mhm.
And for those people who like, oh, I can't see it happening. Well, you can't see how the internet is working either, right? We're
Yes,
having
that's right.
you're three, time zones away from me right now, and we're seeing each other communicating like this used to be the Jetsons TV show, like
Yes, yes.
futuristic. Now it's just a part of normal. And how is it happening? It's through an energy exchange, right?
Yes.
It's just the way it is. So I think really being conscious and intentional with where you place your
Mhm.
energy. How is it going to affect somebody? If I'm in reverse, if I'm the one who's down and not feeling well, I have to be very conscious of it. I have to take ownership that that is going to potentially affect other people. It's a ripple effect, energy ripples. And if I my kids come home from school and they're like, "Hey," and I'm here, it doesn't take much to knock them down off their, high horse, and then
Right.
they feel bad, and then the rest of the evening it just transfers.
Yes.
And their children are amazing and very resilient and bounce back, but at the same time, like, they're not as intentional with their energy. And so I have to think, that's going to affect them. If I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, the whole house can go down really fast, right?
Yes.
If you've noticed, if you happy and then your partner wakes up and grumpy, it's like everything is just really like you've just got my whole day, And that's actually another thing, a tool I like to use when I want to change the energy, whether somebody's just kind of giving me a bad energy exchange or vibe, or I've woken up and not feel, my best, is really it's about physically changing the energy. And I do that by shaking.
Yes.
I do clapping. I find clapping can just change the energy, just disperses the energy, right? Sound therapy, chimes, music, movement of the body, right? Just get everything moving. And I feel like we have the power to change the energy. We don't like it, change it. If something's not happening in the direction you want, change the energy, spin it the other way. You know,
Yes.
we have this power to make every energy exchange change. We put the intention in and then do something to ignite it. Rather than just accepting that this is the way it is and how it's happening to me, like, and now I'm going to be grumpy for the rest of the day. No way. Like, you can snap out of things. We have such power, and it really doesn't take a lot. It just takes being aware that we can do it and then doing it.
Yeah, I love that. And the other thing that when you're saying that, I was thinking about, right, because before I understood it, and maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, maybe there was people that already knew all these things. I'm sure there was. But it used to be like it was a moral thing, or a thing you were judged about if someone was like in a down space, or you walked in and they just, the whole, they just really killed my buzz kind of a thing. And then understanding, oh, this is just energetic. That's what this is. That's why you can walk into, I always say, when you walk into, you get invited over to somebody's place for dinner, and the couple, say there's a couple, they greet you and they're, hi, how you doing? And everybody's, the house looks great and they're smiling, but you can feel it. They've had a fight. Something happened. There's been tension because it's energy. It's because it's like literally it's there. They haven't done the clap. They didn't play their gong. They didn't do anything to shift that energy.
Yes.
I do sound baths, so I know sometimes when there's an enormous energy that releases from a client, I open the windows and the doors because it needs to shift. It needs to, sometimes if that stays trapped in the room or in my body, there's a way that works, right? So I love when you're saying that you can go in and sometimes people just don't understand yet the language of calling it energy. We used to just call it a mood, or someone was being a jerk. And if we can remove that judgment, right? Remove the judgment from it. There's just like this energy thing that's happening that needs to, it's just quantum physics.
Yeah. And sometimes you can feel the shift, right? And there are people more sensitive than others. And I don't believe it's something that everybody could be sensitive if they put their focus on it, right? Again, if you become intentional with things, then automatically you're going to be, your focus goes in it, and where, focus goes,
Yeah.
it flows, right? So everybody has a chance to develop it and work on it and be more intentional. It's just about taking that half a step or breath before you do something and thinking about it, and how is it going to affect that person? How is it going to therefore affect you? How is that going to ripple through their day into their family? And like, one little thing can change everything. It's crazy how much one little piece of energy can affect the ripple effect so many things. You think of an accident, right? And how that 1 second in time, if you had been 1 second behind and didn't have that accident, how many things rippled from your life from that accident, when you think exactly. So it's one little moment, right? And everything, that one piece was a piece of energy that was exchanged in your life, and
Yes.
the ripple effect that happened from it, right?
Yeah. Oh,
And
I
being
love it.
and being able to just feel like you're in control of it, and knowing that you're going to, I don't know, somebody's house that you just have this feeling, but you have to be there or whatever, or in this meeting at work, and going, what, I'm just going to change my intention. What do I want
Yes.
from this meeting? How am I going to move my energy towards what I want so that this other energy just ripples away and melts away and doesn't affect me, right? And
Yes.
it's it's really like we have so much power to do that. We just need to, realize that we do and practice it. It's all a practice.
Right. I like that when you said that when you're going into, we've all been, well, most of us have been having to go to meetings, and maybe there's that person that is a challenge. Let's just say that I'm a challenge for that person. They're equally a challenge for me. And when we go in there, and if we decide, and like you said, I'm not being fake about it, but I'm intentional. I'm
Yes.
gonna, however this works, however that person decides to be with me or be with the room, or it might not be towards me at all. It might just be in general thing. I can decide I'm just still gonna put my intention towards kindness, towards open communication, towards all of those things. I can only take responsibility for how I work it out. But how
Exactly.
many times does that open it up? And this person suddenly everyone's going, wow, Bob was easy to deal with today. Right?
100%. And they don't know you've already done the work. You've already changed the energy before you arrive there, right? And
Yes.
it's and like they might not even know what hit them, but your energy that you've presented has already made a little shift in them. And like you said, and then it just affects everybody, affects the room and things change. And we don't always get what we want. That's okay. That's also an exchange. And it's a practice, and we learn, oh, I didn't get what I wanted from this. What do I need to do differently next time to try to shift it more in my direction? How do I receive that? How can I receive that energy differently so that it doesn't affect
Yes.
me in the same way that it could really blow up my world, or I can accept it differently and learn to deal with it. So
Yeah.
take responsibility for the energy we give and how we receive energy, right? Like
Right.
we have that responsibility to react differently and perhaps reframe we take things very personally, which is what one of the four agreements, not to take things personally, right? So
Yes.
I think it's all a practice. We're here for this human experience and trying to work our best way through it. But I do think now the energy has become like, everyone talks about technology and they don't really think about how, we without technology and, phones and things like this, just you and me having an energy exchange, what I'm able to give to you, what I'm able to receive from you, how we can connect, how we can make each other's lives better,
Mm.
how we can share kindness, how we can be intentionally just working towards that ultimate goal of love and kindness that I know you and I both share that. Not everyone's
Yeah.
going to. So it's
Yeah.
navigating how do we find that place and make these exchanges like every day, everything we do, getting a glass of water, the water exchange coming into our body, nourishing us, everything is,
Everything I love it. When
you
I
know,
first started studying about energy, I mean, I didn't really understand what it was. I like most people, we've all been doing this since birth, and we understand at whatever levels we do. I did music for a lot of years, and I did ministry for a lot of years. So there was these things that were always happening. And I started to see talk woo. I started to see color in people, around people. I
aura.
started to, well, and also it was usually connected with music, and I can't remember what it's called now, but I guess I have a bit of this thing where we see colors and specifically around music, and then in people. I guess some people call it auras. And I started to, when I started studying from like this sciencey, that I never thought I was going to study anything sciencey, but I started becoming so interested in it. And now I kind of imagine it, if I will, if we were looking at like an MRI or any of these other things that are built to see the energy, we actually all have like these little magnetic, probably magnetic is the wrong word, but we have these little energetic fields all around us.
Yeah.
And it's like, why then is it hard for us to think that that wouldn't somehow, I'm walking along with my little energetic field. I've never met you before, but you're walking down the road with your little energetic field, and we pass each other on the sidewalk and we feel something.
Yeah.
And someone would like to call that woo. I'm like, I don't know, because I can go into a hospital and they could put me in that machine and it could show my little energetic field. Why would it not react in some way to somebody else's? I
Mhm.
didn't mean to get into the science side of things, but once I did, I was like, well,
Well,
that's interesting.
it is because I think we're kind of taught that, science makes things valid. It validates things, right? So all of a
Yeah,
sudden we feel validated because there
yeah,
is
I
science.
guess that's
You know what I mean? And
it.
there's people who, still like the doubting Toms, you can't see it, you don't believe it. But then like the internet has thrown that theory all out. So
Exactly.
but yeah, no, and I've never been a big science person either, even though I'm an Aquarian, which apparently I'm supposed to be. But I do find it fascinating. I find it just like if you actually stop to think, and I think that's the thing. Most people just run through the life every day, busy running around. We don't stop and think about things. But when we do, and like just everything is, it's the science of it is amazing, and how much I
Yes.
think as well, which people don't recognize, is how much we can control. Like,
Yes.
people
Yes.
people heal themselves. Like I'm
Yes.
an angelic Reiki master practitioner, so I practice Reiki energy healing. But just any kind of energy healing, people, we have so much power. If we could use more of that for good, it would be a wonderful world.
Yes. Yes.
And if we can do it intentionally, like I send distant healing to people all the time, and you know, I hope they feel it. I'm sure the more people that put the energy into it, the more powerful it is.
Yes. It's beautiful. I love that. I just, excuse me. I love that. I love that it's the more I become aware of it. Some people, and to me, I'm like, I don't really care what they call it either, right? Some people call something prayer, and so there's an intention that they're sending towards that. And some people practice energetic healing, whether that be Reiki or there's so many ways to engage with energy and to send it. And it's like, why is it hard to believe that that could be a thing? Other than I understand that some people have other rules that they live their life by, whether that be religious or otherwise, that they are fearful or
Mm.
leery of it or whatever that might be. That's I'm not here to change everybody, but maybe if we could just open up to what if,
Mm.
like what if I could say, hey, my back is sore. Could I just ask a few people to send out some intention towards healing for my back?
Yeah.
And the ones who want to pray about it, that's cool. I am very open to that. And somehow we just start to, because there's a whole lot of things to think about on this planet right now that are scary. And if I put my energy towards that, I am of the belief
Totally.
that that just feeds and makes
I
that a bigger monster.
I had the exact same conversation with someone yesterday, and I said, like people say knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss, which it was before, like awakening to all the stuff that's happening in the world. Like you said, if you want to go and focus on all of the bad stuff, it's there. It is there. There, unfortunately, it's there. However, if you want to go and focus on all of the good stuff, it is also there. So
Yes,
there is so much good happening, and there are light workers putting their love and light, and they are changing the world as we speak.
yes,
We don't hear
yes,
about it in the doom and gloom media, right? Because
yes.
that is, and if you choose to focus on watching that media that's going to feed you that, first of all, fear is a very low vibration, as you know. So you sit in this like low vibe, and
Yes.
you attract more, right? Like law of
It's
attraction.
powerful, right? It's a low vibrant, but it's powerful, man. It's like
And it's
it
hard
draws to it. Oh,
yeah, it's hard to dig yourself out of that too, because when you're so on this low vibe, it's really hard to climb up. So you have to take every day to take little steps and intentional to stay on the high vibes. To, you heard something bad on the radio, whatever, someone's, filling your inbox. Okay, I'm going to shut that off. I'm going to focus on something good. Give me a feel good story. Who healed somebody today? Who rescued somebody today? Like what happened? All good stuff, right?
Yes.
And that is also very much alive and well in this world is the
Mhm.
good stuff. So you can live in a world of terror, horrible stuff, or you can live in a world of beautiful light and bliss. And
Yes.
they're both coexisting. You choose where you want to live. Doesn't mean the other isn't existing. It doesn't have to affect you, right? You can make it like you're aware it's there. If anything, awareness is good because now you have the power to avoid it or change
Yes.
change your exchange with that, right? But now you've chosen to intentionally place your energy in this basket of good and light and beauty, and that becomes more your reality every day, right? That's where you've chosen to place your energy, and that is what I'm talking about, and choosing
It's
those energy
oh,
exchanges.
I love that. I love that. I'm on that team.
Yeah.
I'm on the team. I don't ignore that there is things that I need to, I need to know where there's been an accident so I can avoid that. I need to know if there's something going on. I don't want to live in a, with blinders
A
on.
bubble, no,
But
for sure.
yeah. However, I would much rather I can look at a garden and see, oh, that garden is dying, or I can get together with other people and start to water it and pull out the weeds. And all of a sudden, that little tiny garden starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden, the field that was looking dead is flourishing. And that's how I see if we all choose to not, I'm not like my mom would say, don't be Pollyanna about it. I'm not ignoring that those things are happening, but like
But
you're
you're
saying,
also taking responsibility to put the energy into something positive so it will
yes,
flourish again. I
yes,
once heard somebody say if everybody could just be attuned to like the first degree of Reiki, the world would be a different place. Can you imagine the energy vibration if everybody had just that one attunement and could just kind of open up and place their
yes,
energy for something good rather than
yes,
something negative? And we just need more people kind of waking up and realizing, you know what, like, yeah, this is dragging me down. I've got all these things happening in my life. I choose to step away and put my energy on something high vibe and
yeah,
add it to that. So
yeah. I do this Mahalo Monday thing on just a little free thing that I do on Facebook, and it's just around gratitude. And I share sometimes the science behind, I don't know why. I mean, I have no I have zero, I have 0 degrees in science. But I've been taking lots of courses on different things and being open to it. And the science behind gratitude is really quite amazing, what it can shift our chemistry in our body. But I invite people to think on 3 things they're grateful for in the morning, before they get up, before they grab their phone, as they're walking down the hall to the bathroom. Just 3 things that they're grateful for. And then at night, as you put your head on the pillow, 3 things that you're grateful for. And then invite them to share with us the shift. Is there a shift? Did it do no difference to you? Did it do a difference? Have you noticed anything in your life that changes? And people have been, I had somebody contact me from New Zealand. I didn't even know anybody knew I existed in New Zealand, and just say, just shares like amazing things with me. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for way over there taking the time to like, but that it changed something. And like you're saying,
the ripple, it's the ripple.
it's
You're
the
ripple,
ripple, right?
you're rippling into New Zealand. And it's true, like you're focusing on the intention of gratitude. And the more grateful you are, you're going to
Yes.
attract more things. The universe provides. I'm a huge believer. I talk to the universe all the time, like they're my friend. And like, I ask for what I want. They want clarity. They want you to ask for it, and they will provide. But if you're constantly in a state of lack and
Yeah.
you're in lack, they're going to keep providing you with lack because that's what your focus is on. Rather than focusing on what you have, everything to be grateful for, they're going to just keep providing you more of that great stuff to be grateful for. And gratitude is like such a beautiful practice at any age. It can be the smallest thing, doesn't matter.
Yes.
If you appreciate it, you're going to get more of it. I believe it.
I'm so grateful for dark chocolate.
Me too. I love chocolate.
I just want to really concentrate on dark chocolate.
That's awesome. I love it.
Oh my gosh, Christine, thank you so much. I just love you. How have I not known you every second of my life? Maybe I did, because time is this whole other thing that we won't get into, but
I'm really fascinated with time right now as well.
I
We'll have to
know,
talk
me too.
about that.
It is not linear. It's just how we experience it here on the mud ball. But thank you so much, and thank you for sharing so clearly with people just the little shifts, right? No one's asking anyone to go from the depth of sorrow to being Tony Robbins or whatever in a day.
I
But
love
just
him.
little shifts, me too, little shifts that can change our lives and change just our small sphere of influence.
One
That's
little step.
just that little
Start
step.
with the consciousness and the awareness, and then put the intention into where
Yeah.
you want that energy to go. And you've got the power behind it. It is already so, right? So
Yes, it is already so. Ah,
already-
I love it. Thank you, Yoda.
and thank you for this beautiful energy exchange.
Oh, thank
So
you.
grateful.
This has just been lovely.
You, your energy.
Huh. So Christine, thank you so much. And to our listeners, thanks for hanging out with us. And I know there was so many gems in there today, and get your buckets and your pails and get out there and start digging them up, because they abounded today. That was great. So thanks, Christine, and thanks to our listeners. Oh, like and subscribe. I don't even really know how to say that, but my husband tells me that I should be saying that. So, and above all, find your joy. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found a piece of your joy in this episode, I would love to hear about what came up for you, so that we can continue to grow the impact of this show. Thanks again. See you soon. And remember, find your joy.